for those of us that have a platform because it resonates. And I want to resonate good. I want to resonate reason and compassion and empathy. And that's more important than my feelings. Because my feelings, I can take care of those.
As Joe Biden ramps up his re-election campaign, they have called out the big guns because, quite frankly, the DNC knows that Joe Biden cannot alone even come close to winning re-election. Democrats behind closed doors are scared because they know that Biden will lose, or should I say, Biden will get destroyed in a general election if it's against Donald Trump. So Michelle Obama is taking the circuit. She's going out and talking about what she thinks should happen, how she feels about it, and quite frankly, I believe people are listening. She went on Jay Shetty's podcast, whom I happen to like. Jay Shetty, I watch him often. He does a lot of great interviews. I don't know if he's a woke liberal or not, but that doesn't matter to me because I have watched several of his interviews and they were very interesting. But the Democrat establishment is in a full-blown panic because everything they've tried to do to Donald Trump, indictments, trials, any scandal they could dig up, all it did was make him stronger. And as we speak right now, Joe Biden's poll numbers have never been lower. So during the interview with Michelle, Jay Shetty asked several questions, and one of the questions that I thought was interesting was, what keeps her up at night? And this is what she had to say.
What keeps me up are the things that I know. The war in the region, in too many regions. What is AI going to do for us? The environment, are we moving at all fast enough? What are we doing about education? Are people going to vote? And why aren't people voting? Are we too stuck to our phones? I mean, those are the things that keep me up because you don't have control over them. And you wonder, where are we in this? Where are our hearts? What's going to happen in this next election? I am terrified about what could possibly happen because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bully pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted. The fact that people think that government, does it really even do anything? And I'm like, oh my God. Does government do everything for us? And we cannot take this democracy for granted. And sometimes I worry that we do. Those are the things that keep me up.
And some of those things ring true. A war in the region or too many regions. The wars are because of Joe Biden and his failures. He's funding a proxy war in Ukraine. He's funneling money to Israel so they can fight Hamas. Our own soldiers now, our troops, are engaging in certain battles because they have to defend cargo ships out in the sea. So basically what Joe Biden has done is put American soldiers at risk for something that should have nothing to do with the United States. She's worried about AI. She's worried about the environment, of course, the climate change, because climate change is one of the biggest things we need to worry about in 2024. While these people, the elitists, continue to fly around the country on private jets, but that's okay for them. But we're not supposed to have a gas-powered automobile. She is panicking. She knows Barack Obama is panicking. And behind closed doors, the elite Democrats are panicking because they know they do not have a strong candidate in Joe Biden. They know he does not have a chance of winning re-election if he goes at it by himself. He can't speak. Every time you see him, he's wandering around. Every time he's out somewhere, if he sees a little kid, he goes right up to the little kid, which quite frankly is disgusting in my view. The Democrat establishment needs something. They need to pull a rabbit out of their hat, if you will. And I believe their person is going to be Michelle Obama because they say she relates to people. She can get through to people. She's a great talker. Well, yeah, Barack Obama was a great talker too. He gave a great speech. He was kind of to me like a preacher. And I'll be honest with you, I liked Obama when he first got elected, but then you could slowly see what he was all about. He was about separation. He was about racial divide. He was the one who started the hatred of police officers in this country. Quite frankly, I believe he put the target on police officers' backs when he was in the White House. Then Donald Trump threw a stick in their spokes. Hillary Clinton didn't get in to continue the destruction. So they had to wait 4 years, and here comes Joe Biden. They knew in 2020 that Joe Biden was not the man for the job, but he was the only one that was going to get the support from the Democratic establishment. And here we are today in 2024. We have to worry that Michelle Obama may be the Democratic nominee for the presidency. How is that even possible? If you listen to her talk, she actually sounds like she was elected as First Lady. She claims that she knew too much. Whatever came across the president's desk worried her. Why was the First Lady even involved in day-to-day operations in the White House? Her function is to stand there and wave and be a nice person. Yes, they all have their own staff and they all travel the world and make their speeches. The First Lady is not an elected official. Jill Biden thinks she is, and Michelle Obama thought she was. Donald Trump's wife didn't think that at all. She knew what the job of the First Lady was. The president is the president. She's there to lend a helping hand if need be. But the Democrats of today want us to believe that possibly Michelle Obama could be the savior of our country. That terrifies me. I don't know if I'm scared more of Michelle Obama being president or Hillary Clinton being president, because they're both no good, in my opinion, especially Hillary Clinton. Okay? Michelle Obama, on the other hand, she's all about race. She's all about diversity. She's all about, you name it, whatever policy they're talking about. Transgenderism, sex change, you can be what you want to be. You have to be compassionate. Well, she said something else that really struck me. Have a listen to it, and then I'll talk about it.
This is the thing about being an other.
Mm-hmm.
You learn how to be excellent all the time
Mm-hmm.
because you can't be less than.
Mm-hmm.
Other people can. Other people can be indicted a bunch of times and still run for office.
Mm-hmm.
Black man can't. You just learn to be good. And in the end, you benefit from that extra resilience.
Mm.
You know, you could be mad about it, but it also makes you more equipped, right? But it's still not fair.
This is the thing about being an other. What she means by other is a black person. To me, that's racist, okay? You can be indicted a bunch of times and still run for re-election or run for office. A black man can't. And this is the person that the Democrats may want to push through. What are we doing as a country? Like I said earlier, Barack Obama started the racial separation, started to defund the police, started who hates blacks, who hates whites, who hates Muslims, and so on. Okay? And now Michelle is claiming that she's an other, or Barack is an other. You know, we've all heard her claim how oppressed she is. Okay? Living in her $11 million estate in Martha's Vineyard, she's oppressed. She has 24/7 Secret Service security, as do her children, but she's scared of what could happen to them if they're out. Nothing's going to happen to them because no one can get near them. So what should keep her up at night is the destruction that Joe Biden has done to our country. on her behalf, on her husband's behalf. They wanted this country divided, and they continue to want this country divided. For her to come out and say she's an other, and then you can be indicted a bunch of times and still run for election. Hello? Are we supposed to be stupid? Are we supposed to not have brains? We all know who she's talking about. Another Trump deranged Democrat who can't deal with the fact that this man may become the president of the United States again. That's our problem. They are so hung up on what Donald Trump did for 4 years, which in my opinion was make our country a great place. There were no wars. There was no high unemployment. People were making more money than they're making today. There weren't millions of illegals coming over our borders. Oh no, that all started in 2020. But they want you to believe that the orange man is the bad guy. That's a big problem. But the Democratic establishment is still going to try to push this one through, or God forbid Hillary, because they know and they are frightened. They are terrified because they know if Joe Biden makes it to the finish line, which quite frankly, I've said this so many times, I don't think he will. But if he does, and God forbid he got in again, we all just might as well throw in the towel or just end it. Just end it. Because if you think you're hurting now, and if you think your country is bad now, what's going to happen if Democrats take control for another 4 years? It's going to be the same thing. But with Michelle Obama, the economy may get a little better, but the racial divide will continue. The DEI will continue. We're going to have to be compassionate and have empathy. And we're not going to still be able to say what we think, because how dare you have an opinion on what's going on in the country you love so much. Every tax-paying American citizen should be outraged that these Democrats are continuing to push their nonsense propaganda like race, diversity, equity, and inclusion on all of us, when the majority of Americans just want to live their life. They want to make a decent wage for working hard. They want to be able to raise their family and not worried about what these Democrats are going to do behind closed doors to make our country worse than it already is. And it's bad because of Joe Biden and the Democrats like Michelle and Barack Obama. And the list is a mile long. I'm not even going to say any more names. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.